My guest today on the podcast is from the Marion County Council on Aging, Cassie Gregory. Glad to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you for coming on over. I wanted to ask you this. I think I asked you this the last time I was there, and because people that listen to podcasts and they always want to know about who is that person you have on here. What was your background prior to, or how did you get into what you do for a living as working with seniors?
Well, if you want to go all the way back,
I don't need to go that far.
Well, I say it's because I grew up beside my grandma, my grandparents, and I always have loved older adults. She was my most favorite person in the whole wide world. But I did not realize I was going into geriatrics really until I accepted my first position, and I worked at the Delaware County. At that time, it was called the Council on Aging, and I worked there for about 8 years at that time. But then I came back to Marion County, and I worked in the hospital, Marion General, for 5 years, and then I worked at was Heartland of Marion then, it's Legacy now, for 3 years, and then I also did some PRN. Home health work. Older adults have always had my heart, and so now this kind of allows me to tie everything I've done, because I've done levy services, home health. I've seen all the facets of the healthcare side, and seniors are always in the healthcare side, and it's just they need an advocate and they need somebody to walk along with them, and the families, not just the seniors but the families, because when you're in different situations and you need help for the first time, it's a bit of a trying time. So
now, Cassie, how long have you been with the Marion County Council on Aging?
It's about a year and a half that I've been the director.
Okay. Oh, you've been the director.
For a year and a half.
Well, that's pretty good. So I always say once you get through the first year, then you know the cycle, because there's sort of a cycle to things for people that sometimes don't know what I mean. Is there's certain things every year in the month of November or October that come, and so then now you know what, because you've been 1 year through the cycle. It kind of goes all through that. But I was kind of curious. You worked at the General at one time, Marion General. I did too. I was a behavioral counselor there one time.
Okay.
So I have a little bit of idea. So I guess you could say we sort of have a few things in common.
Yes, we do.
Mostly we got seniors in common, and I know that you, as a part of the Marion County Council on Aging, and I'm part here as a trustee, or not, well, I should one of the board members. I'm not a trustee there at the Crawford County Council on Aging. So aging, we have an interest in that. So I guess today we'll start off with something, I guess it's really, well, I know it's important because this has come up, this health aging grant.
Yes,
okay.
It's very exciting. Quite honestly, this is an opportunity for us every county in Ohio, honestly, was able to apply for these monies through the state budget. The Ohio Department of Aging brought it to them early on this summer, and then it was all approved. So each county, it was based off of a $100,000 amount, and then they looked at the population of seniors in the county as well as income, and then determined amount of money. And it actually came through the county commissioners. So I've worked with our county commissioners and applied for those monies, and Marion County did receive the Healthy Aging Grant, and then the Council on Aging were facilitating that. It's been a quick process. Once these things are approved, it kind of rolls fast, and we've actually been creating some new programs as well as supplementing some of the direct services that we already do. But again, quick turnaround time. So it's very exciting because this is new monies for the seniors in Marion County, and it is much needed.
So the Healthy Aging Grant, this came from the state, correct?
Correct.
And now what are I won't say restraints on this, but what are the guidelines for this that
they actually gave us some allocation for there's a big nutrition component, food access, as well as housing, and then a digital literacy component, which is kind of exciting because we focus on, or maybe I should say I focus on direct service so much that it's hard to expand sometimes, because I'd love to get around to doing the digital literacy piece. But when you have people that need food, you tend to
Yes.
focus more solely on that. So this is opening that door, and we're working with the Marion Public Library in Marion County to develop some new classes, get them some new technology. There's also been a big push for the social isolation that's happening, and we're hearing in our senior buildings that since COVID, because everybody kind of got used to staying in, that we're needing some help drawing seniors out of those apartments again. So we're trying to do a social isolation piece as well, and I think that nothing draws anyone out of their homes like kids. So we're trying to do a intergenerational component to that too, and gonna start working with some of the schools to get our teenagers and get some kids involved with getting into the senior buildings and some socialization.
Well, when we start this out, when you started, you mentioned 2 or 3 things here, and
Sure.
I think a lot about food,
Mhm.
and so I imagine that they are concerned about food insecurity amongst seniors. Is this basically why they allocated some of this money?
Absolutely, and it is at least 20% has to go towards food insecurity and nutrition. And so what we're doing is we're going to start doing some congregate meals in 3 of the subsidized housing communities in Marion. And so in doing that, we also want to have it be a little, have a fun component, or increase the, or decrease the social isolation, and have the kids come in and serve those meals and do that. But as well as the Caledonia Farmers Market, we have sponsored that in years past, and we have increased that grant so that there are more senior vouchers this summer. Just trying to increase food access to people in different ways. There are 3 different home delivered meal programs in Marion County, so that already exists, and we are going to put some more monies towards those. But we're also trying to do some different things so that we
Yes.
can reach some other people, as well as the commodity box. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but you
No,
can.
I'm not, so you can
Yeah.
enlighten me and enlighten our listeners.
Financially, you can qualify for a commodity box, and it's through the Marion Senior Center in Marion County.
Okay.
But people have a hard time getting to the senior center to actually pick that up. So we are paying the Council on Aging through the Healthy Aging Grant. We will be paying for that service to be delivered if people need that, so they can get that monthly food staples is what
Okay.
that is. Or shelf staples, how the canned goods, the things that will last a month or so, to get that delivered to them.
Well, like I say, a lot of what you're saying today seems to me like the state is concerned about food insecurity amongst our seniors.
Absolutely.
And I would have to say, from my experience in dealing with this on the local level here, it is a very valid thing right now.
Yes.
There's a lot of people hurting for food, and especially seniors, and seniors tend to be the type that are not going to open their mouth and say, I need food.
Yes. I would say 80% of the calls that I get for meals, needing home delivered meals, is not from the senior themselves. It's from a neighbor, it's from a friend,
Yes.
it's from the hospital,
Yes.
something like that. And we see it in all different ways. The housing component is also something, quite honestly, I was shocked. I would say a year ago, November, I started getting calls for seniors that need housing or were going to be evicted, or
Yes.
a lot of it was the rent was going up for places that they have lived for a long time, but because of the way the housing market is, the rent has increased substantially for places that aren't the subsidized housing, and their Social Security checks did not increase at that same rate, so they truly did not have the money. We have a great partner through Ohio Heartland Community Action that does some wonderful things for housing assistance. But I think that also, I think the state is recognizing that we are seeing housing issues that we haven't seen before in Ohio with our seniors.
We haven't had high inflation there for quite so many years, late 70s, and was kind of the last big period where we had these huge increases. So right now, seniors would be definitely affected because, again, your Social Security recipients do get a COLA, or cost of living adjustment, but that nowhere covers what the expenses have been on food and the various things. Anyone that's living out here in purchasing material, people can tell you, well, it's went up this much. You don't need to tell people. They go out there and they go to the store and they find out that $50 and you've got a bag and the bag's not very full of what you bought. So.
I'm shocked every time I go to the grocery.
So, for seniors and for others, everybody's is going to be affected by the inflationary part of it. All right, what else would you want to share on this?
Just that we are really excited and hope that we can touch a lot more seniors in Marion County with the Healthy Aging Grant. But with Marion County, with what we're doing right now, I think I touched on the support group the last time that I was here.
Yeah, but it didn't hurt to repeat it.
Yes, because I will tell you it has grown. I can't even take full credit. I would love to, but I can't take credit for this support group. It actually created itself. We did partner with the Alzheimer's Association, and they did a 10-series educational piece on Alzheimer's disease at our office. And the closer that we got to that ending, there were 10 to 15 people that were there at every single session. And I was like, the dynamics of that group and the conversation and the connections that were made, it was as though we could not drop that group. So I host it, as in it is at our office, 125 Executive Drive, Suite 102 in Marion, and it is the second Tuesday of every month at 1 o'clock. But there are 3 ladies who are actually caregivers to those that have dementia. 2, it is their spouse. One of them, it's the mother-in-law, and they run the group. And it's fantastic. We even, a lot of times in December you cancel meetings. Well, they did not want to cancel. We are having a cookie exchange later today and kind of just talking about how Thanksgiving went because, caring for someone with dementia is such a hard thing.
Well, caregiving in general is 24/7. It knows no holidays. It knows, and like you said, when you're dealing with dementia and some of these issues like this, it's there in your face every day.
And it's isolating, and you feel so alone. And this group, it's the camaraderie, and it's a wonderful thing to witness. But we also have agencies that typically come in and speak of what they can do to help seniors with dementia and kind of relieve the caregivers as well. So, but that is every month that we do have that dementia caregiver support group, and you can live in whatever county you want to and come to that.
And the Healthy Aging grant here that you talked about, like you said, that's dealing with a lot of these people that are isolated, not only in this manner, but in others, because like you said, COVID tended to push people maybe that were already a little isolated even to more isolation. And the older that you get, sometimes your friends are dying around you or have passed, and you can become very isolated very quickly. So I don't think people really realize that the world gets smaller for you, as I always say, because now your sphere of people that you're around that pool is diminishing.
That's a really great way to put it. And then I don't think that people realize how quickly things can that loved one or that senior has done all their life and been absolutely fine, how quickly things can unravel. And if we can stop that unraveling and help with some supportive services, they can stay in their home, which is what we all want.
Yes, and I believe the other components you said of this too was dealing with technology for seniors and dealing with that, because we're going to be transitioning even more and more with people that are seniors that are going to have at least some tech background. And I'm pretty much of a technology illiterate myself, but I'm just saying I can tell as things goes on, almost everything now you have to do everything through a computer or a smartphone and all these things, and it's kind of like, for some of us it's quite frankly, we don't like to deal with it.
Absolutely.
And I'm just being honest.
Nope, absolutely.
I just want to go to the store, here's my money, here's the stuff, let's be done with this. I don't want to go with this, but that's not the way the world's going, so you have to go with it, and it's hard to transition and to make that transition. But so I see why they're doing this and the need for that.
I agree, and I'm hoping to make that a transition a little bit easier.
Yes, that would help.
Bringing those kids in, because there's nobody that knows technology better than these teenagers.
Yeah, and I would think some people would not feel all that intimidated with that, because they kind of feel. I think that could be a very good partnership if you could get it to work right.
And that's what we're really hoping for, because it's hard, because you don't want to spend money on the technology when you know it's just going to keep improving, right? But the seniors that have the phones that they don't know how to work, that's what I want to get to. I want to teach them how to use their phone so that they can communicate, so that they can FaceTime and you know, or Facebook Live and see their families. So that's what we're hoping to do, and there's nobody that would be able to teach that better than teenagers.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say don't draft me for it. I would not be good at that, Cassie.
Well, you can go to a formal class at
Maybe
the
I
Marion
need to be
Public
in a formal
Library
class
too.
in Marion County or elsewhere. Probably people probably feel I need to be in a lot of classes, Cassie, but that's a whole other issue. Any other areas we want to kind of touch in this morning here? I've got you here.
Well, I think that those were the two that we are focusing on the most in the start of the new year. We did just finish up our contracts. We did 2-year contracts for all our providers so that all of our other services can maintain as they typically are through the levy. So the home delivered meals, homemaking, personal care, the adult day center through Kingston, transportation in county, out of county. Otherwise, we're just rolling.
Well, that's a wonderful thing there's a system that's set up. Everybody's trying to improve their systems. They're trying to tweak things to kind of the reality of the way things are right now. And that's a constant thing. No matter what organization you're in, things are going to change, and quite frankly most of us don't care for change, so but they are going to change whether we want to change or not. It is changing. So I think that's a great thing. Now people have listened to our podcast today. They say, man, I'm kind of interested in how do I find out more about the Marion County Council on Aging? How would they contact you or your organization?
Give us a call. Phone number is 740-387-0401. When you call, you are going to get one of two people. You're going to get myself, Cassie Gregory, or you're going to get, because we like to confuse everybody a lot, Kathy Purvis. So just know when you call, you'll get one of us, and we will hopefully answer your questions. And if we can't help you, we will get you in contact with somebody that can.
I will give that again. That number is 740-387-0401. Correct?
Correct.
All right, and we've been speaking with Cassie Gregory, the Executive Director of the Marion County Council on Aging. Glad to have you here this morning, and I wish the organization the best in this new year and the many initiatives that you're doing, and your work is a good work to help our seniors, because right now they're under a lot of stress and pressure, as with a lot of things in society, and any way we can make it some of these transitions a little easier for them, I think it's going to be well appreciated, and they are an appreciative group of people.
Yes, they are.
So thank you again for being on the podcast.
Thank you.